several offers. He refused them all. "This land is my legacy," he told his wife. "It's not for sale." But someone else had other plans. Part 2. The silent invasion. One morning, he drove past his property and froze. There were machines, trucks, and workers. The old trees were gone. The sound of drilling filled the air. A big board stood in the center, reading, "Sunrise Villas, a luxury gated community," by the HOA Development Group. At first he thought it was a mistake. Maybe they were building near his land, not on it. But as he walked closer, his heart sank. The construction was happening right in the middle of his property lines. He rushed to the site office. A young supervisor looked at him and said casually, "Sir, this area belongs to the HOA development. You must be mistaken." Mr. Rahman pulled out his old deed, a weathered piece of paper yellowed with age. The supervisor glanced at it, shrugged, and said, "You'll have to take it up with the main office. We have approval from the city," and just like that, he was dismissed. Part 3. The Battle of Papers. Over the next few months, Mr. Rahman tried everything. He called, visited, and wrote letters. But every time he got the same response. "According to our records, this land belongs to the HOA project. Please check your documents again." He even went to the municipal office, only to find that the land records were under review. Someone, somewhere, had tampered with the registry. When he told his friends, they laughed. "Rahman, you can't fight them," one said. "They own half the city now." Another warned, "Even if you're right, they'll bury you in legal fees." Mr. Rahman stayed quiet. He didn't argue. He didn't threaten. He just went home, locked the original family deed in a small safe, and waited. Part 4. Patience over anger. Every few weeks he would drive by. The villas began to rise one after another. Beautiful white walls, shining roofs, manicured lawns. Workers painted fences, laid marble tiles, and installed glass balconies. Neighbors whispered that he must be heartbroken. But he smiled. "Why are you smiling?" his wife asked once. He said softly, "Because every day they build on my land." He had already hired a small legal team, not to fight immediately, but to collect evidence quietly. Every construction permit, every advertisement, every sale post on social media, he kept copies. He even hired a surveyor to mark the exact boundaries of his property using GPS mapping. He said to his lawyer, "Let them finish. The more they build, the stronger my case becomes." Part 5. The grand opening. 2 years later, the villas were complete. It was a grand ceremony. Politicians came. Media cameras flashed. The HOA chairman gave a speech about vision and progress. People applauded. Mr. Rahman was there too, standing quietly at the back, wearing a simple white shirt. Nobody noticed him. When the event ended, he took a picture of the finished villas and whispered, "Thank you for the hard work. Now let's talk about ownership." Part 6. The deed returns to court. The next week, his lawyers filed a property rights lawsuit. They presented the original deed, tax records, and old photos of the land. They traced every boundary, every historical document, and even included a 1960s map showing his grandfather's name on the property. When the HOA lawyers saw the documents, they panicked. They argued that the land was acquired legally through government approval. But when the court demanded proof, their chain of ownership fell apart. Turns out during a previous land expansion, a clerical error, possibly intentional, had merged Mr. Rahman's property with a neighboring plot. The HOA developers never verified the original title. They just assumed the land was clear. The judge looked at the evidence for months. Finally, one morning he declared, "According to the presented documents and official registry correction, the disputed land belongs to Mr. Rahman. All constructions made on this property legally belong to him. 12 villas, millions in value, all now under his name." Part 7. The HOA's desperation. The HOA tried to negotiate. They offered money, a lot of it. "Sell the land to us, keep one villa for yourself," they said. But Mr. Rahman refused. "You built without respect. You thought power made you untouchable. Now learn that patience is stronger." When they appealed, they lost again. The media picked up the story. Man wins back land, HOA loses 12 villas. People across the city called him a hero. But he didn't celebrate. He simply said it was never about revenge. It was about respect for truth. Part 8. Lessons from the land. Years later, The villas still stand, but with a new sign. Rahman Estate. He rents some out, gives one to each of his children, and turns another into a small library about land rights and legal awareness. He wants others to learn from his story, to never give up just because someone richer or louder takes what's yours. He tells visitors, "They thought I was quiet because I was weak. I was quiet because I was patient." Master Shi's reflection. The wisdom behind the silence. When Master Shi heard of this story, he used it in one of his talks about emotional strength and timing. He said, "The loudest victory is the one that requires no shouting. When you know the truth, let time be your sword." Patience doesn't mean doing nothing, it means doing the right thing at the right time. He explained that in life, people often try to take what is yours, your peace, your respect, your work, or even your family rights, but reacting with anger only weakens you. Instead, observe, prepare, and act when the moment is right. Mr. Rahman didn't win by luck. He won because he stayed calm, collected evidence, and trusted time. He didn't need revenge. He needed justice, and he got it. 8 life lessons from Mr. Rahman's story. Silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. You don't have to shout to prove you're right. Let your truth speak through results. Never sign away what you don't understand. Your property, your rights, and your name. Always protect your documents. Keep original records safe. Paper may seem old-fashioned, but one original document can win $1 million battle. Anger clouds strategy. If Mr. Rahman had stormed the site or argued publicly, he might have lost control of the situation. Don't fight small battles, win the war. Sometimes waiting until the problem fully reveals itself gives you the strongest position. Patience is the weapon of the wise. The best revenge is calm confidence backed by truth. Power doesn't guarantee right. Even the richest organization falls when the truth stands against it. Justice may be slow, but it never forgets. Truth has no deadline. Sooner or later it arrives, and when it does, it stays. Part 9. The final walk through the villas. One morning, long after the court case ended, Mr. Rahman walked through the villa compound. The air was quiet. He could still hear the echoes of construction, the hammering, the drilling, the laughter of workers who never knew whose land they stood on. He placed his hand on a marble wall and whispered, "You were built on arrogance, but now you stand for truth." He smiled, locked the gate behind him, and walked away, and not as a victim, but as the owner. Conclusion: justice comes to those who wait. This story isn't just about property. It's about life itself. In every stage of life, people will try to take what's yours, your peace, your effort, your recognition. Some will lie. Some will manipulate. Some will think you're too quiet to fight back. But if your foundation is truth, you don't need to scream. You just need to wait and act when the time comes. Because like Mr. Rahman proved, they may build on your land, but they can never own your truth. And when the truth finally walks into court, the villas, the victory and the respect will all belong to you.